Now, behind that backsplash, that's the stuff none of us really wants to spend money on. No. Behind the walls, though, it is so important. And you can justify the cost because that's the stuff that's going to keep your house intact. So contractor Chris McGimsie is here to set the record straight. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening behind our walls. I don't even know if I'm allowed to be touching this. My dad used to say things like, don't touch the insulation. Chris, talk to us a little bit about what we need to be concerned about behind the walls so that we make sure our houses are good in all different seasons. You say moisture is an issue.
Right. So we may not get to see it every day or enjoy the function every day, but what's behind the walls is essential to keep our home safe, dry, and energy efficient, because we know an energy efficient home is going to be a lot cheaper to heat in the colder months and to keep cool in the warmer months. So it's essential that we know what's behind the walls. So moisture, as we know as homeowners, is can cause a lot of damage, right? So moisture can cause premature rot. If we live in colder climates, it can freeze. So we want to make sure that our home is dry on the outside and warm on the inside. So we want to be using moisture-resistant material. So this is a little cross-section of a wall that I framed up here. So this is moisture-resistant wood, which is good for basements, additions. I like to use this in bathrooms, around shower surrounds. It's rot-resistant and it's termite-resistant.
Ooh, I love that. So we are talking about all seasons. Yep. Dave, you are in a warmer climate.
Yes.
Is moisture still an issue?
It still is. We still have crawl spaces, and we use blue wood.
Yeah.
This is a great product. It's a little more pricey, but it's worth it for those moisture areas.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And vapor barrier, too. We discussed that you actually use vapor barrier as well.
It's now just after the last couple of years in Tennessee, in Nashville, it's code now. You have to have a 6 millimeter vapor barrier.
Okay. What's the vapor barrier? What is that?
It just stops. It's a layer of. This is a vapor barrier.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Layer of plastic. You would cover your crawl space or put on your dirt floor. That's what we have, and it just allows the moisture not to come up through the ground.
And it also prevents a lot of drafts, right? If you don't use if you use spray foam, you don't need to actually use bats of insulation and vapor barrier. This is kind of, like I was saying to Dave, I like to double up on the code, like maximize the building codes. There's never any issues with an inspection or a home sale. So this actually keeps all the draft out. This will keep the heat in and the cold air out, but this will actually prevent a lot of the draft.
Love that. Okay.
And this is moisture resistant drywall as well. So we're talking about moisture resistant material. This is good because this prevents rot. This is good to use in showers.
I want to talk a little bit about plumbing.
Plumbing. So in colder climates, we want to make sure that all plumbing is done. If it has to be done, I avoid to do it on exterior walls because it will freeze. But if it has to be on an exterior wall, I prefer to have it on the warm side of the wall. This is also PEX. This is plastic piping. This is an alternative to copper piping. It's cheaper, it's easier to use, and it actually will expand. So it won't freeze. Like if a copper pipe freezes, it will break, causing costly repairs. So PEX is always a really good option to use because copper, the price of copper is affected by the market of copper overall. So this is always a really cheap, easy material to use.
Okay. Here, people have basements. That's the norm. Nashville, lots of basements?
No.
Not so much?
We have crawl spaces.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on a big rock in Nashville.
Right. Okay, so it's a little bit different.
A little bit different.
Right?
Yeah. And sorry, like I said, everything that we use, we want to be following the building practices in your area because if you live in a warmer climate or a colder climate, it's going to change. So always follow the building codes in your area and use the appropriate materials. And if you have the budget, I'd say go over it above and beyond what the building codes require you to do.
Older houses here, we see a lot of brutal wiring.
Yeah, exactly.
Knob and tube, which can be super dangerous. Do you have to deal with the same thing?
We do, and it's my biggest obstacle with the old homes we renovate, because once you open it up, you can notice that some people renovate halfway. They'll tie new modern wiring into old knob and tube.
Yes.
Rats eat the material.
Yeah, they like
it's fire.
They like the jacket on the covering, the vinyl coating of the wire. It's so strange.
Is it yummy?
I guess. So that's the thing you see. That's like when you
it gets in the little pieces.
Oh, yeah, a toothpick.
So when you do renovation, it's a good time to kind of give your house an inspection, look behind the walls, see what the insulation looks like, see what the material looks like, see the plumbing, and see the wiring. Because like in all renovations, people tend to tie in electrical over and over and over again, and all these things eventually can affect the insurance of your home if you have old wiring, if you have poor insulation, if you have asbestos. So.
And the reason why it affects the insurance is because it's unsafe.
Exactly.
Like you can have might have a fire in your home that spontaneously happens because of old wiring. Now, wiring costs money.
Yeah.
We learned that lesson when we bought our house. It's over 100 years old, and they said as soon as you open that wall, you get what you get. And the inspector said you're probably going to get some knob and tube. There's knob and tube all the way from the top all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah.
My husband's stomach still hurts when he thinks about the bill that we paid for the wiring.
I go through it every time because you want to say, okay, well, this part of the house, it's all in good shape. Knob and tube wiring it's still valid to a lot of people because they can't get rid of it. But if you're going to open up the walls, do it right because you're going to have to do it at some point.
You're going to have to do it.